For the last month, I turned up the gravity by adding an additional pound to my body weight every jump workout. Would I be able to consistently adjust to this added resistance to continue making progress, or would all of this added weight eventually break me down? And what will happen when I finally get to take all of this off and test my vertical jump height? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's find out, but you gotta focus. Day 1, after a brief trampoline warm-up, I suited up with the 4-pound weight suit, and then it was time to add my first additional pound. So these actually weigh a little bit over a pound, but I'm gonna use them anyways. I guess the more the merrier, right? Anyways, now the trouble of getting this on my body, I'm gonna want it somewhere near my center of mass, and I'm gonna want it on pretty securely. My idea? You know it, right? So I figured if I make like a belt, I could like put it in the middle of it, eyeball it, and then close it off like this. Come on, bro. That's good enough. Okay, so I'm thinking, yeah, and then tighten this up right here. Boom. Honestly, that's not bad. Because I used a sweatshirt throughout the last month, I'm gonna use a sweatshirt throughout this month to get that added weight from the sweatshirt as well. All right, now it's off to do my first workout with 1 added pound, plus the suit, plus the sweatshirt, plus the clothes I have underneath. But I had all those on last time too. All right, let's get to it. So yes, wearing all of these layers, but that's what I did last time, and I wanted to keep it consistent, but add an additional pound every workout. Another important thing is all of these training sessions will be done with barefoot shoes. So then, getting comfortable in the car, making my way over to the gym, I started by doing the exact same workout that I have been doing when wearing the weighted suit. I really wanted the only variable to be the addition of that single pound every workout. After 2 warm-up sets of sled pushes and pulls, and then 3 working sets, really trying to drive through the glutes, legs, and calves, I was feeling pretty powerful, but at this time I really wasn't feeling the added 1 pound of weight. That is until I moved over to the second exercise, which is 3 sets, 5 reps of box jumps. Trying to work on exploding out of that 90-degree angle, it was at this point I was beginning to feel that additional added weight. But it wasn't until the next exercise where I really started to feel it, and things started to get a little sketchy. Depth jumps. As you can see, this exercise is highly impactful, which means a potential greater risk for injury. I knew this, but I also knew from my own experience that when practicing these depth jumps properly with a proper warm-up, the result later always was a more explosive, responsive vertical. So I figured because I want to push it and get the most height possible to keep this exercise in the routine. And luckily on day 1, I noticed no ill effects. But would something unfortunate happen later? Stay tuned. After this, I finished up the structured portion of this workout with 3 sets, 8 reps, jumping switch lunges. And then at the end of my workout, about a 20-minute dunk attempt or rim touch attempt session. Now, if we look at my previous best from the 1 month of just wearing the weight suit experiment, we can see I eventually was able to touch the rim while wearing the 4-pound weight suit. So I was hoping for this experiment, adding an additional pound every workout, I would still be able to at least continue to touch the rim. That way, as the weight increased over these workouts, but I still maintained a similar vertical jump height at the end when I would take it all off, my vertical jump height would then be significantly higher. So basically just progressive overload. And well, on day 1 with this additional added pound, I was able to muster up the strength and touch the rim. So I decided to take it 1 step further and use this little foam ball to actually try to attempt to dunk it. But what I found out quickly is it was much harder to actually get something above and over the rim than it was to just touch the rim. Yeet. Anyways, after several more of these jumps, I did get a little better, but never actually got a dunk or even made a basket, to be honest with you. But still, I would say it was a successful workout, and if I could just keep maintaining this pace with each additional weight added, then I believed I was on the road to some very big gains.
But other than that, I think this is it for day 1.
72 hours later, it was time for jump session 2, and an additional pound added. So the good thing about this second day is we're gonna have an even number of weights on this thing, so I get to counterbalance this first one right here. That might feel more comfortable, but it's still gonna be a pound, and as you actually saw, slightly over a pound heavier. Keep it securely in there. I'm gonna go around like this too. That ain't coming off. Oh, dude, that actually feels way better than just one. I think the counterbalance is really helping out with that. Oh man, that's extra weight. To be honest, I'm already feeling the added weight. I can feel it with every step. It's like significantly more feeling than just the first one. And just like that, it was off to workout number 2. Keeping everything the same from before except for the additional weight added, this second workout of the week is very similar to the first one, consisting of sled pushes and pulls, box jumps, but then in replace of depth jumps were single leg box jumps. 5 reps each leg, 3 sets. Then just finishing up this structured workout portion with jump squats. Alright, now when it came to the rim touch attempts, my goal here was to touch the rim with this additional pound added. I was beginning to notice the extra weight more. It felt like it was pulling me down, but I tried my best over and over and over again.
I gotta touch this rim. I gotta do it, whatever it takes. I'm so close. Like, this is not the one where I stop touching it. No. In fact, I'm fighting for everyone, so let's get this. Let's touch this thing. Let's touch that rim. Come on.
And just like that, I was able to power through the extra weight and touch the rim. And then I was able to make contact 3 more times for a total of 4 rim touches this session with 2 additional pounds. Feeling dehydrated and fatigued, but ambitious for more, I rested up the rest of the weekend. And just like that, I was on to week 2 for session 3, adding yet another pound. Unfortunately, I have no clue where my Gorilla Tape went, but I found this duct tape, so I'm gonna have to do, I don't know where that stuff runs off and hides. Dad joke. I should do one between the 2. Now, it's been super uncomfortable to drive with this thing, and I don't think there's any benefit in doing that, so I'm actually gonna put this in my bag here and then put it on in the gym for my workout. Dude, bro, boy, you gotta organize, bro. It's just real. This is what it is back here. Starting off with the exact same workout as workout 1, I was actually feeling very confident and strong. During my box jumps, I felt extra poppy, like I was already jumping higher even with the 3 additional pounds on top of the weight suit. Wanting to capitalize further, I kept the aggression high, and everything was going smooth until the depth jumps. During that last jump, I felt an uncomfortable cramping pain in my foot. Afraid I might have actually broke my foot, but hoping I didn't do so, I took my shoe off and did the most bro-logical thing possible. Tried to massage the pain away and then punch the pain away. Obviously not recommended, it just felt like it needed it, I don't know. Anyways, I decided not to do any more box jumps, but when I went to do the jumping switch lunges, the bend in my foot kind of made it feel uncomfortable. So rather than stopping the workout, I decided to switch those jumping switch lunges with jump squats. Yeah.
Hopefully this little foot scare here doesn't turn into anything serious. I think I shook it off though. It doesn't seem like anything's actually going on. Maybe it was just a cramp. Hopefully, praying to God. All right, jump time. Let's do this. Ooh, it's a little iffy on the foot. I don't know. Come on, you. Stay all right.
Feeling that uneasiness in the foot, it was probably not smart and also mentally difficult to continue powering through, but I did anyways. And after miss after miss, I finally had one jump where I managed to touch something metal.
I think I hit one of the knobs holding the net on, but at this point, I'm gonna count anything. So hopefully my foot isn't broken. Other than that, decent session.
Over the next 72 hours, doing everything I could think of for recovery for my foot, hoping it wouldn't get any worse. Thankfully, it did not feel like it got any worse.
MSM cream, baby.
But was it getting any better? Good news, guys, my foot is feeling 90% better. In fact, when I dorsiflex like this, a little bit of tension right here, but nothing that feels like it's broken or anything. In fact, the only position where I'm getting notable discomfort from is if I sit like this and I put my foot like this on the ground and I like squat back into it like that. But honestly, you know what? I think we're good to go. So yeah, it's been 72 hours since a potential incident, but I think I'm in the clear. Putting the suit on, Gonna go put some extra weight on the belt and gonna go train. Wish me luck. Whew. Let's do this. Alright, so eyeball like
another workout, another pound added. Still just taping it to this belt.
That'll do it though. 4 weights.
And getting to the gym, running through the 4th workout, doing the exact same Thursday workout as always. It wasn't until I got to the rim touch attempts where I felt like I was having some hesitation. Perhaps some of it was mental from just getting over this foot injury, or perhaps some of it was from the additional pound. Nonetheless, I tried my best to power through, but I just didn't feel like I was in sync or connecting, if that's the right word. I'm not doing as well today, honestly. Like, I'm not even close. This extra pound, like, it feels exponentially harder.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Should I just throw it on there? Shoot, this is getting way too much here. I'm gonna put it right in the middle here between these two. There it is. I'm gonna have to figure something else out later to disperse this a little better. I think this is the last day I'm solely gonna use the belt. But nevertheless, 5 additional weights. It's time to go. Let's do it. I gotta be honest, this is the first day I've actually gotten to the gym, and before even starting anything, I've kind of been just like fatigued and uneasy about this. Anyways, let's try our best. Workout 5 was pretty much like workout 4. It just felt like the addition of that extra pound was adding up faster than I could put on strength. But sticking to the experiment, I tried my best, did a little extra warm-up, and powered through the plyometric portion of this day. Due to the extra weight and just feeling on the edge, instead of jumping right into run-up attempts, I decided to do some non-run-up attempts to try to touch the rim. Man, every jump I felt further away than ever. Now when I eventually got to the running up attempts, something I noticed happening was it felt like my whole entire setup was off. Not like it was perfect before, in fact it was far from perfect, but especially on workout 5 with that 5th additional weight around the belt, it just felt like it was pulling me forward or something. And on top of this, my ankle was starting to feel a little sketchy. My ankle, like the Achilles, is feeling a little, you know what I mean? On the same foot that I basically strained the previous couple of sessions ago. I'm still trying to power through, but I'm really trying to be careful on everything. And if I don't have enough energy to focus on how my body's like feeling throughout the movement, I think I'm gonna call it, but dial in. But it is getting hard. Wanting to play it safe after about one more jump attempt, I had to call it here. At this point, I felt like I needed to come up with a strategy to better disperse the weights so that I could continue this experiment effectively. So I think I'm going to switch it up today. What do you think? Alright. Oh my gosh, that almost wasn't long enough. Obviously, I'll probably put it on a little tighter. Wrist weights. That's right, I took one weight off the belt, added it to one wrist, and then the additional weight for this next workout was added to the other wrist. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna get some wicked front delt pumps. So after sled pushes and pulls, moving over to the box jumps, it was very interesting. I initially felt the resistance getting the arms to pump out of the hole, but when they swung up and I jumped, I actually felt like the momentum from the extra weight on my wrists carried me or floated me up. It was strange. I had extra weight, in fact the heaviest so far, but it felt like I was perhaps cheating somehow. So to finish it up, I actually switched things up this workout and I added in this additional exercise. Explosive Bulgarian split squats, taking the arms out of this movement. My form was a little iffy starting these off. Look at that extra head movement, what the heck is going on? But I do have to say, when I get these prettier, I feel like they're actually going to be very effective. What is that head movement? Moving over to the dunk attempts, this is where things got very interesting. An additional pound added to my body, the heaviest so far, but with two weights being around my wrists, I was able to use the momentum and jump so much higher. In fact, after just a few attempts, I was able to easily touch the rim. Think about it, just last time with 5 additional pounds, I was so far away, but this time, another additional pound, 6 additional pounds. I'm able to touch the rim, just because of the location of the weights. Part of me thought maybe I actually just had a breakthrough and it had nothing to do with the wrist weights. And this is where I almost made a grave mistake. I decided to relocate the wrist weights to the ankles. And it was just a couple jumps in when all of a sudden I felt my knee just do something bad, like it just didn't feel good. Not knowing if it was something minor or if it was something catastrophic, I decided to call the session here. Now luckily when I did cool down, the pain did not increase severely, but over the next couple of days my knee kind of felt stiff and unstable. Now luckily after going through my standard recovery protocol for potential minor injuries over the next 3 days, I felt like my knee was feeling good enough to have the next jump session with the next additional weight added. Alright, good news. My knee feels better, but it did take until today basically for it to feel better. So what that means for me is no more ankle weights, all right? Nothing beneath the knee. So yes, I am adding another weight today, but I'm going to add it above the knee. I have an idea in my mind, basically like hanging down these weights from the belt, basically onto my upper leg. And hopefully these pants, them being so tight, will kind of hold them into place. And then we'll get the weight a little bit more spread out without pulling on my knee. Then I'm gonna have 2 on the wrist because I didn't have any elbow or shoulder problems from doing that. So I'm just gonna mock this up right here. I'm gonna go like this. Right there, I suppose. So this is starting to look really ridiculous, but I was hoping the technique would work. What I decided to do was hang 2 weights down onto my upper thighs to help spread that weight out a little bit better so that I wasn't thrown off balance from the belt. Now additionally on this day, I decided to also go back to using 2 wrist weights as well. Hopefully being here with 7 pounds added on top of the weight suit, I would be able to spread them out properly enough without causing any injury. Getting the belt on, the thigh weights in position, and the wrist weights secure, I was ready to go. Now for some reason, maybe I was just getting completely beat down from this entire experiment, or maybe the weight crossed a threshold, but it didn't feel like the momentum was benefiting me as much as it did the previous session that I wore the wrist weights. Also, the thigh weights were manageable, but not as good as I thought they were gonna be. They were still moving around quite a bit, and I don't know, I'd give it like a B-. Anyways, changing it up a bit, ending with some power skips supersetted with broad jumps to hopefully build that explosive power out of the hole, I finished up the plyometric portion of the workout. Now when it came to rim touch attempts, unfortunately my energy was dropping off quickly. However, I powered through the best I could, but due to being absolutely drained from all this additional weight, I had to cut this portion short.
So heavy. And do I look like death, by the way? Because I was looking in the mirror and like bags under my eyes, they look sunken in, and just like my skin looks like pale. Maybe I'm just being over dramatic. Anyways. Well, I think that's my cue. Alright guys, it is the final day of this experiment. This is the last weight added before I take this off and test my jump. Today, I am doing it differently though. Instead of using the belt and the wrist weights and all that, I actually got one of my modular weight vests from a previous video. This was literally the tightest weight vest I could find, and I weighted it up with 8 weights. 4 in the front and 4 in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the 8th session, the final session, an additional 8 pounds. Well, probably more than that based on how much these things actually weigh, plus the 4-pound suit underneath this. It's time to get this done. So I'll actually put this on when I get to the gym. But yeah, without further ado, this is it, the final day. I gotta make this count. I'll see you there. Alright, just being dramatic, obviously. I need to...
So I was actually super nervous, knowing it was my final day of this experiment, the last additional pound I would add. I wanted to give it my maximal effort so that I could hopefully achieve maximal results. Now, all the weight being more towards the chest region as opposed to the belt did feel a bit different. In fact, it actually felt worse. Going forward, I think a weight belt might actually be better in some instances than a weight vest. Anyways, when it came to the final push, rim touch attempts, I gave it my absolute best, everything I had, but with 8 additional pounds on top of the 4-pound weight suit. It was harder than ever. I ended up taking my sweatshirt off just in case it was causing me some restrictions in my reach. And then I continued to push and push as hard as I could. Getting so close, perhaps making some gains, but not quite able to make contact. After getting close, feeling my energy drop off, I had to call it here. The final session was over. Even though I really wanted to be able to touch the rim on this day, I had to keep in mind I had at least 12 additional pounds added to my body. Now that this weight addition phase was over, all that I had left to do was rest up, recover, come back to the basketball hoop, but next time with just my body weight and see if I could jump substantially higher.
Did not touch rim, but did not get hurt. Gotta count your blessings while you can. I'm gonna recover up. And then we're jumping fresh with nothing.
Would adding 1 pound to my body every training session and trying to adapt over the course of 1 month yield some significant jump height results? Well, I recovered up over the next 3 days, and the beginning of the next week, it was time to put this experiment to the test.
Honestly, I don't even know how I feel right now. I'm nervous, like I'm seriously nervous here. So I'm gonna do this just like I did the last experiment where I wore this weight suit for an entire month, except for I'm not gonna wear the full additional 8 pounds that I've added up. I'm just gonna wear the weight suit to warm up into the jump attempts. Yeah, I'm gonna probably go through like 50% of my normal workout that I've been doing, make sure everything's loose, warmed up, and primed. And then I'm gonna send it.
So just like the last time I did this and saw some significant results, I went through my standard workout but did so at 50% volume and 50% intensity.
I feel like that might be floating.
Now when it came to the rim touch attempts, I still kept the suit on and did a few practice jumps to get my timing right, hopefully being able to touch the rim, which I did. And with everything looking on track to hopefully display some massive gains, I took the suit off, switched into a light tank, and began the first jump attempts with just my body weight in so long. And then it happened. Wait a minute, play that again. What is that? So what actually happened is before I did any foam ball dunk attempts, on my last just jump up and touch attempt, for some reason when I flicked the rim, it got stuck a little down. This brought the edge of the rim just down enough for me to be able to jump up with the foam ball and basically get my first foam ball dunk. But even so, if you do look closely, you can kind of see that the foam ball leaves my hand before I hit the rim, so I don't even know if that counts. I was still excited though.
Okay, I don't know what happened, but the rim was like, it got stuck forward. I barely touched it on the last one. I think, I don't know, maybe it's sticky or something. But yeah, now it's back to being level again. But yeah, it tilting forward just a little bit, I think, gave me the benefit of actually getting that dunk in. But now it's level, so I'm gonna try it again and actually try to get it without that little bit of bend.
Not even close. And then when I went back to just height attempts without the ball, to have something to compare to the beginning of this to see how much height gain I made on my jump, well, I felt like I was jumping worse than ever. Okay, now that's a little dramatic. It wasn't worse than ever, but when comparing my best jump on this day to my best jump before doing this experiment, well, my best jump before doing this experiment looked better. It looked more explosive. It looked like I had more energy. It looked like I had more flight. It just looked more powerful. And in fact, I think it was a little bit higher. And then to make matters worse, my energy then dropped off a cliff, and I wasn't able to do any better jump attempts. So actually very disappointed in myself. An entire month of all this effort, potential injuries, putting it on the line, and not seeing any results. Perhaps even getting worse? What the heck was going on? One thing that did cross my mind, my final hope was, what if I just wasn't recovered enough? For when I did go into this final results day, I kind of felt not fully there. Maybe this was the case. So not willing to give up just yet, I wanted to give it one last try. But this time I was going to take 4 days off of training to hopefully allow my body to fully recuperate and be able to put down some explosive power and jump higher than ever. But the best I could do was only this. Even worse than before.
I just don't know. I just don't know what's going on.
So what exactly happened? First of all, could it be that I gained weight and I was actually heavier at the end of this experiment, preventing me from jumping higher? Well, most likely not, for my weight on day 1 was 197.8 pounds, and then at the end of this experiment, I was hovering around 195 pounds, so I actually got lighter. Well, maybe my technique just got worse throughout this experiment, canceling out any brute force jump height gains made. This is actually a possibility, and I think it would be due to wearing and training with all the added weights on, me then getting used to this redistributed weight, then when I would take it off, it would kind of throw me off. Okay, so now I have a confession to make. After workout 1, after taking the suit and the added 1 pound off, I decided to have some foam ball dunk attempts. And literally on the second attempt, this happened. And then 72 hours later on workout 2, I actually did a few rim touch attempts at the end of the experiment after taking the suit and the added weight off, and it looks pretty much as high as my all-time high jump. So my jump height seemed like it was at least maintaining, and you gotta keep in mind this was at the end of my workouts when I was already exhausted. However, moving over to workout 3, when I got that foot injury, I wanted to do a few jump attempts without the suit or any added weights, and well, things just didn't work out this day. And then every workout after this, I stopped doing the jump attempts without the added weight. And that could have made me adapt to wearing the suit and threw my timing off and technique off, or this could have been the turning point, the mark of my body just not recovering as fast as I was trying to train it. I believe it's probably a combination of both, which is actually super frustrating to me because if you think about it, that means the bulk of the remainder of these training sessions were probably useless, or even worse, bad for my entire progression, for that center of balance thrown off, overtraining, etc. I'm really sorry guys, I wanted to have some fantastic results to share with you and just be inspirational, encouraging, but this is the reality of what happened. So please forgive me. I hope you still enjoyed and were entertained and maybe learned something from this video, that it's not always going to be a linear increase on the way up. Things don't always work like you think they would. You know, there's that hormetic curve that usually plays into a lot of things in life. Maybe I just overdid it here in a certain way. But with that being said, one thing I do know, and one thing I know you guys have been telling me, is I do need to work on my technique, and I think going forward I'm going to primarily focus on technique, definitely working on that penultimate step, as well as just the setup overall in general. Also, like I have mentioned, I haven't been doing any lower body weight training in quite some time, and now that I'm going to focus more on technique, maybe now is a good time to start throwing back in some lower body strength exercises to build that foundation back up. So things are going to change up a little bit. I've got some new experiments coming, but don't worry, this goal is not thrown away yet. It's time to reassess, reevaluate, come back, hopefully stronger, and hopefully make more progress. Thank you for your support and positive feedback. Hope you all have a great day. Peace. I will see you all in the next video.